All right, Recliner Sports Reporters, welcome back to Keep the Change podcast. I'm Mac, and with me, as always, is Robbie. Robbie, how we doing, buddy?
Good, doing great, man. Just had some great tacos.
It's not even Tuesday.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah,
There's never a bad day for tacos or pizza.
no, you
Either of
can
those go every week.
every day of the week you can have them. For those of you just joining us for the first time, or those of you who have listened to us before, we are Recliner Sports Report and Keep the Change podcast. We're going to give you our best bets and games, our opinions on games, must-see games to watch in the NFL this week. But before we get into those games, some breaking news: Aaron Rodgers has returned back from uh, he is returning from IR. He's back at practice. I saw a video today of him throwing a ball at practice. So Robert Saleh said that he is clear to do football movements, not be a full participant in football, but he can do football movements, drills, all that stuff. So pretty impressive. What's your thoughts on this one, Rob?
I have such mixed emotions about this because we play the Jets in Cleveland December 28th. Part of me really wants to see Aaron Rodgers play, but the other part of me really doesn't. That defense is already lethal enough. They've struggled this season all year at quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers is there, they're a very scary team. I'd love to see him play, just being one of the all-time greats, but I'd also probably prefer to see the Browns win. So here's to hoping the Jets can just lay an egg the next few weeks and be knocked out of the playoffs so that way he doesn't rush back.
I will tell you this. The game line will definitely change with
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers for that game, but that's like right in that window. He says 21 days. So that's sitting like right at that window of first game he could be returning. And do you have that one home in Cleveland?
Yep.
That would be crazy. But props to him. What a legend. That's you can say what you want. You can hate him, you can love him. Whatever you want to say about Aaron Rodgers, but you got to respect that that man had Kobe Bryant had that. I mean, this one of those injuries that's really devastating to a lot of athletes, and it takes a long time to recover. And he's getting back. This is what, 3 months, less than 3 months. So, pretty
78
impressive.
days, I think. 78, 79 days. That's absurd.
Very impressive. Much respect to him. So Aaron Rodgers, way to go, buddy. Um, all right, well, let's talk some football, man. We got a couple throwaway games this week. There's honestly, I know it's a weird week because there's 6 teams on bye weeks this week. I was telling everyone too, if you have Justin Tucker as your kicker in fantasy, the Ravens are on a bye because I'm sure you only drafted one kicker. So please make sure you check that because that was me. I had to go through it. You don't ever think about picking up your kicker until you're like, oh my God, I need a kicker right now. Uh yeah, not to me. When you're looking at the slate right now, there's not a lot of games that jump out to me, but there are a few that I am very excited about, and those are the three that we're going to talk about tonight. So we're going to talk about Broncos and Texans. We're going to talk about 49ers and the Eagles and the Browns versus the Rams. We're going to give you our best bets for those. So let's jump right on in it. Broncos, Texans. Why don't you start us off, Robbie? What's your first take and what are you thinking about this game?
Man, after getting to watch that Broncos team for a full game last week, they play hard. The defense plays hard. They hit hard. I mean, they were laying guys out left and right. We walked out of there battered, bruised, limping. I'm thinking for that reason, I'm taking the under on this. I don't see it being a high scoring game this weekend. CJ is going to do a good job getting little bits and pieces here, but they do a good job in Denver of not allowing you to get the big play. But also, I'm taking the Texans with the points -3.5.
Um,
I think they're going to win the game by a touchdown, maybe even 10 points.
this
And
this line has shifted a little bit. Keep going.
two other ones that I got are CJ Stroud throwing over 1.5 passing touchdowns and Russell Wilson throwing under 1.5.
That it for you?
That's what I got on that one. I think I'll put those four together. It comes out to like plus 611.
Ooh, big poppy parlay right there. Um, yeah, I think this game, I think if you were 5 weeks ago, this is a throwaway game, but we're looking at right now. Yeah, we're looking at right now the Texans, which again, we say it once, we've said it twice, we've said it probably about whatever episode we're on. Ever since that draft, we have said the Texans are going to be the hottest team. Might not be this year, but definitely the next 3 years. Well, they've already jumped it up, and
Yeah,
once again, they're coming up on our radar. Now, the Broncos, similar situation in terms of they didn't start the year great. Not
one
much
five
on,
straight.
yeah, not so much. We were high on their draft stuff, but you bring in a guy like Champagne, which is pretty big move, and you start off slow. But now, what this has led to, though, is an epic battle that's going to carry a lot of weight in the AFC right now, because both these teams are kind of fighting for spots in a conference right now that has a lot of possibilities. So if these two were to kind of get down into where they have a similar record, this could be a tiebreaker game looking at the end. So a lot of implications that are going on in this game. Both teams are playing well in this in over the last couple weeks. I know the Texans lost last week, but that was another close one. I mean, watching it, you're watching CJ Stroud, and you're like, with a minute left, you're like, I have watched him do this four
Yeah,
or 5 weeks in a
gonna
row
go do
now.
it.
Yeah, right. I mean, come on, you're gonna crap out every once in a while, right? But I very interesting with your line on the over under. Now that is set at 47 and a half. So that is a high end. So I would say I would feel comfortable because a lot of these guys last kind of couple games have been around like the 24, 21, 27, like 47 sits kind of underneath that. So I feel comfortable. If this got down to like 45, 42, I would be leaning more towards the over, but 47 and a half is a great spot to take the under. Um, the Houston -3.5 line, I like it because they're at home, but here's why I'm worried. Okay. The injuries on George Fant and Laramie Tunzel for the Houston Texans on that offensive line. That definitely came into factor last week against the Jaguars. They're questionable right now, not looking like they're going to be playing. That I believe will have major implications on what CJ Stroud what he's going to be able to do in the pocket. So it's either he's going to have to use his legs a little bit more, or he's going to have to get quicker with his throws. But I do think that that's going to provide a little bit of worry for him. And you're going against the Broncos defense, okay, which is weirdly enough a Broncos defense right now that is a turnover machine. All right. I want to here's a bet for you. Okay. Is will there be a defensive turnover on the Broncos' first defensive drive? Yes, because these guys are like the last two games, or at least two out of the last three games, they've taken away on the first drive. So these guys get lots of turnovers. Again, going against a really high caliber quarterback, but they did it against Josh Allen too. So it just goes to show you that this Broncos defense isn't playing. And I mean, what did hold you guys to last week? 10, 12, 12,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That was. I've been trying to block it out, but yeah. They
Yeah.
handled us very.
It's they're a good defense. They're a solid team. It's just again, 5 weeks ago we would have been thinking we were in the twilight zone talking about it. But the proof is in the pudding, and they're playing hot right now at the right time. So, and I think that you got to give Sean Payton credit for that. So, I am actually going to stay away from the money line on this one right now. I'm going to wait to see if this gets closer to 3 or if this gets closer to like 2.5. So I'm going to pause on the 3.5. I think if it stays where it's at, I might buy a point and take Houston on it. I do think Houston wins this game. I think they bounce back after a tough loss against Jacksonville. And I think it's kind of the same thing as the Broncos are on a 5-game win streak right now. I think that it's the NFL. Win streaks are hard to come by. Not saying that they can't do it, but if I'm looking at the two, it's like playing those odds. I think the Texans steal this one at home. Um, I think a safe bet is the money line for the Texans, and I like the value on it because you're only looking at like minus 150, which is a pretty solid line. There's not a lot of juice on that, so I like that a lot. Um, I love your player props. Okay, so I'm also going to be tailing those. I think you're right. I think CJ goes over 1.5, and I think Russ does go under 2. He just hasn't been really putting too many uh the last couple of weeks, putting too many just like drives together with that. And I think Houston's defense is pretty good. I also like Williams for an anytime touchdown.
Okay. Heck yeah.
Yeah,
I like
I
that, the
yeah,
owner.
and the over on his carries too. They've been really featuring him as a premier back, which has been helping uh the Broncos. I think they've been doing a very good. I was talking about this on my podcast or with Taylor on Tuesday. They are very heavy run, and they're controlling the clock right now, and they're setting up the pass, and they're using play action and their bootlegs, and they're playing a great system right now. So I think Williams definitely has a big day. And yeah, that's my takes, buddy. Any other comments on this one before we move on?
No, I'm back and forth on who to pull for in this one as a Browns fan because this is two teams that we're facing off against in the AFC wild card hunt right now. So I don't know which team's the better for our outcome. We already lost to Denver, still have Houston coming up. So I think at that I should be cheering for heck, I don't know, Denver.
I was gonna say I think you should be going for Houston because then you have a chance to beat Houston. Because then
Yeah.
if it came down to it and there was a tie up in there, you would get the breaker from beating Houston. I
Okay.
think. I think. I'm
We'll
not
go
a
with that. I think Houston's going to win anyways.
yeah. We've been high on Houston all year. And you know what?
Yeah.
If you don't believe us, you can go back and check
Watch them.
out our early podcast, whatever. Go back to the April episodes, and when we're talking about the draft recap, literally Texans stole the draft. I'm pretty sure is what our
As the
podcast
title.
is.
Yeah.
So go check it out. For those who think we're lying and we're faking here, we keep receipts on that. Okay, I literally think our thumbnail is CJ Stroud or on his draft pick. I'm almost positive. So, all right, moving right along the line. Um, let's move to Browns Rams next because I want to save the really this is a
Big.
big game coming up on the 4 p.m. I'm surprised that this didn't get flexed down to the 8 o'clock game because the Chiefs Packers at 8
Not nearly.
that doesn't excite me, but this other game, which we'll talk about soon, does.
Um,
But before we get into the big one, Browns Rams. I am loving this game. I think this is I think 3.5 is very wide right here. But go ahead. What's your takes on this Browns Rams? And we're not just picking this game too because you know he's a Browns fan. I'm a Bengals. I mean, again, when I look at this slate, like Panthers Buccaneers, don't care. Dolphins Commanders, 9.5 spread, don't care. Jets Falcons. I don't know if this is Aaron Rodgers, maybe. Lions Saints, that doesn't none of these other games kind of like stick out to me. Chargers Patriot, you know what I'm saying? But this Browns Rams game, this is big because the Browns need a win here, and the Rams need a win. I mean, you got two teams right now. Weirdly enough, the records wouldn't show it, but both teams are in the hunt for playoff positions. Rams a little bit in a more weird position, but go ahead, Browns Rams, buddy. Talk to me here. What's your first thoughts on this?
so still as of right now when we're doing this, DTR is in concussion protocol. So looks like Flacco is going to be the starter. He's the one taking all the first team reps. And with that, we just got a veteran in there that's going to make sure that he doesn't make big mistakes, not turn the ball over. I like the Browns with the points at plus 3.5. Another one, he's a touchdown sniper. Just comes in the short yardage. I like Kareem Hunt getting an anytime touchdown. David Njoku. He's had some drops the last few weeks, but he just keeps getting open and he runs hard when he gets it. They're going to keep getting it to him. I like him for over 4.5 catches. And every single week, I take Njoku for 25 plus yards.
Joku for 25 is the bet of the year, buddy. That's the bet of the year. Right
And I
there.
think it's
Joku over 25 receiving yards. That's the
one
best
I
bet.
think it hasn't hit. I'll have to double check that later, but I think only
No,
one game.
keep talking because we're gonna check it right now because we're keep going.
Yeah. Uh, Guy was so mad after the game 2 weeks ago. Went home at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. FaceTime Stefanski in his backyard catching balls on the jugs machine. Apologized for dropping the balls. Still dropped two more last week, but it's all right. Guy cares. He's a freaking animal.
Okay. His games have been as follows. First game, 24. Okay.
There's one.
Second game, 48. Third game, 20. Then 46. Then 24. Then
Yeah.
54, 77, 26, 58, 56, 59. So we're
He's
in
at
week
three
thir-
games
we're in
this
week
year.
13, and he's only had 3 games. In two of those 3 games, he had 24. So he's only 1 yard off. So that's pretty impressive to me. I'd say if we're looking at statistics on that, what is that? We're week 13. It's 10-3.
Oh,
What's the percentage on that? Come on, everybody. How do you do that? You do
that's
10
from my
divided by 10 divided by 3? Nope, 3 divided by 10. Nope, that's not right. Nope. I don't know. No, it'd be what? 10 divided by 13. 13 divided by
yeah,
10. 13 divided by, nope, it'd be 10 divided by 13. 76%.
that's
That's pretty
solid.
good. 76%. Look, that was good math right there. You see how I got that through? So here you go. David Njoku, 76% of the time this season, he has went over 25 yards. There's a reason why we
Slam.
like there's a reason why we like this bet. It's in the numbers right there. Um,
What do you
we
got
got
for
to make
this
sure
game?
we clip that because that one's going on so bad. That's a good one right there. All right, I'm liking the Browns with the points. I'm a little worried right now, especially with the quarterback dilemma going on. That's big time. But here's the advantage to this. What we've noticed this year in the league is that teams that are facing quarterbacks that have very little film in terms of like this season's film or like it's a new style, technically in their first games back or with the new teams, they do well. Then they start kind of seeing how they play
Really
and the
figured
film
them out.
catches up. But this could be one of those weird ones. Like the Bengals always have a problem with backup quarterbacks. I don't know why. But like maybe this is one of those times where you just get a little sauce of, oh, I know it's Joe, but they take him a little bit lightly and he goes and puts up 40 on him. I'm really hesitant about this over under set at 39 and a half. Because I'm afraid it's going to be like
Yeah.
a 2021 game or a 1920 game or a 1921. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm really like weird and hesitant on that, but my gut's telling me that the under should hit comfortably. Like this should be a 16-10 game. It should be a 14-17 game. Like that's what it's kind of my gut's telling me at. I think the line at 3.5, like I said, I think that this is going to be a 3-point game. That's why 3.5 scares me. But I like the extra half on the Brown side. So I would take that on the Browns all day. My player props, I think Williams gets an anytime touchdown, and I like his over on carries. I like Nakua's over on his receptions. Not not extremely ecstatic about in any time with Puka. And I agree with you. I like Ford on a touchdown. I want to say Ford on carries, but the Browns, kind of like the Bengals, have been really inconsistent with one game he's going to get a lot of carries, the next game he's not getting a lot of carries. But I do like you said, I think you get down there. Now he comes in and either Ford or Hunt get in, but I'm hoping they just leave Ford in and Ford gets the anytime touchdown. So that's how I'm leaning out for this game. I think what this game comes down to though is whose defense can step up, make plays, force turnovers, because the Rams haven't been super explosive on offense as we've seen the last couple of years. The Browns are facing some injuries with offense, so whose defense can provide something and whose special teams can provide something to change the flow of this game? That's what this game I think is going to come down to.
And I can't remember the last time the Browns returned a punt kickoff for a touchdown. We need Josh Cribbs back in the building. Josh Cribbs needs to be involved in our special teams. I know we got the number one unit in the NFL right now, but we need Josh Cribbs back there talking to those returners, letting them know what he saw.
Taking it to the crib, man. Exactly,
Yeah,
right? Just hire him as a special teams assistant
yeah,
coach, special teams,
yeah.
returners, specialists, return
He
specialists.
wants to be a part of the Browns anyways. He still
You're
loves the Browns. I
you're telling
follow
me
him on Twitter or X. Excuse me.
yeah, you're telling me that that position's not available? You're lying.
Yeah,
Um, all right.
ready to move to the big one.
Yeah, either way, I'm excited about this Browns Rams game. The problem is this is why I wish this next game was moved down, because I would want to be able to watch this Browns Rams game.
I'm so mad that I will be watching the Browns Rams game 100%.
You're gonna have to pull out two TVs, man.
Well, I got the split thing now with YouTube TV where I can watch 4 games.
There you go.
My ADHD does not do good with that. I'm just like all over the place like a freaking dog running through a squirrel sanctuary.
I love it. I love it. I totally get what you're saying. For some reason, my brain is like more comfortable in that space, but I've sat with a lot of people like at Buffalo. I think that's why I'm most comfortable at like Buffalo Wild Wings or like a Hooters, or when you're going out to a sports bar. Duffy's is good at this too. My brain just like feels at home when there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know, it just like settles it in. But the big game, um, pretty much a playoff game in December is what this
The
is.
NFC game.
Yeah. I mean, a preview of it, right? 49ers Eagles. This is, I mean, who is the class of the NFC right now? Records wise would say the Eagles, but the 49ers can make a statement to show that they are there. This has number one seed implications written all over this. San Fran needs a win. Eagles could lose, but also need to prove that they can win this big one too. What's your thoughts, and how do you think this one's going to play out?
They got to prove they can beat them with Brock at quarterback. I I like the Eagles. That's my NFC team. Got my buddy at Kane that works, a diehard Eagles fan. I've been on the Hurts train since before he was starting. I just had a lot of good thoughts about him. He's turned out to be honestly even better than I expected. But in this, I got a four-legger that comes out at plus 625. Eagles on the money line. Hurts and McCaffrey, both for anytime touchdowns. And Christian McCaffrey's receiving lines at 32.5, and I think he hits the over on that. But it's going to be a battle. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I'm thinking it's going to end up being a lower scoring game. I think the under might be a good way to go on this, even though you got two great offenses. You also have two really good, prideful defenses out there. And that Niners pass rush that was already something to be spoken of. Whew, those Buckeyes coming around the corner. Bosa and Chase Young on the same team right now just isn't fair.
What do you think the keys for the 49ers to win on this one are?
Keys to the Niners is they gotta win the line of scrimmage. That Eagles offensive line, that's their pride and joy. That's what the reason why the brotherly shove works isn't just because of their formation. It isn't just because of the tree trunks Jalen Hurts has. It's because of the interior of that offensive line and the push that they get. They love that line in Philly. Those guys deserve it. I think whoever wins the line of scrimmage is going to win this game.
And what do the Eagles need to do?
I think the Eagles need to hit some big plays early. I think they got to get up early, hit some big plays, and that way they can start to run the ball and take those edge rushers out of the game. I think I want to see Jalen take a deep shot to Devontae Smith early in the game.
Yeah, the Eagles need to start games better. That's
Yep.
100%. I couldn't agree with you any more than that. The Eagles need to have better first halves because they've been playing with fire pretty much the last couple weeks here. I mean, I was doing the math the other day. I think like of their 10 wins, 8 of them are within a score. And a lot of them come down to this wire stuff. They've been playing with fire too much, and a lot of it's because they haven't been coming out great. They've been great defensives in the second half, made great adjustments, but their first halves are going to start catching up with them. And I don't think the 49ers are a team that you can get down too early and come back because they have Christian McCaffrey and they are also very good at running the ball. And they can go into the dump and dime offense and run it very effectively because you got lots of weapons with Kittle, Debo, Ayuk. You got a lot of guys on their roster that they can spread around with too. The last thing you want to be doing is getting into a position where your defense is out there too long and the kind of game gets slipped away from you. I don't think, Buffalo, when the Eagles play Buffalo doesn't really have a good run game. Pacheco's
No.
okay, but I don't think KC's offensive line's been that great. Dallas, Tony Pollard's been MIA recently. Then you got the Commanders, Miami. Miami was a blowout, but yeah, the Eagles are playing with fire. They need to come out starting in the first half. Now, I like your take here on the over-under. The over-under is set at 47.5. If you look at these guys kind of lines now, the three losses that the 49ers had, if we look back at their scores, oops, I don't know why it brought me to that one. I want to bring this up because this is some good stuff to it. So if you look at their three losses, they only put up 17, 17, 17. So if you think the Eagles can win, your best bet is to take the under here because that means, statistically speaking, the 49ers offense didn't do too well. And with that being said, the Eagles are also key at starting. If they start off slow and they come and win this, we're looking at something that's going to be like a 20-17 game. That's how that would play out because 49ers would set at 17, which is going to be a lot of room, still 10 and a half points to play with on the under. So I like your take on the under. I think statistics would show that. The problem with the under is the 49ers, when they have won, they've put up over 27 points, like on average. So
Yeah.
this could also end up being like the Bills game where we're seeing a 37, 30, 31, 33, and all of a sudden we're just like, great, out the door. Awesome.
Yeah.
That you're just sitting there and just watching the points fly up. But I think if this looks typical how the season goes, I think Eagles get this done in a tight fashion, and I think it goes under 47 and a half. So I think taking the Eagles points and the 37 or the 47 and a half is a great bet. Great two bets to take there. Just as good as David Njoku, Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, and C-Mac anytime touchdowns. They're free money at this point. And I think A.J. Brown goes over on his receptions. I think where we get hairy here is because the Eagles defense is very good. Brock Purdy's over 1.5 on his passing touchdowns. I'm staying away from this week. I don't like it. I think this is one of those ones where C-Mac, if they're going to score, it's going to be C-Mac running in. I think same goes to Philly. I think running game wise, if we're looking for touchdowns, I think running back scoring touchdowns and Hurts scoring touchdowns are the way to go for any times on that.
Yep. I like it.
All
It's
right,
going to be a
buddy.
good.
Yeah, it's
I
a
got
great game.
I got another little flyer, just four legger I was messing around with earlier.
Yeah, talk. Let's hear it.
All straight up on the money lines: Browns, Eagles, Texans, and throw in the Bucks over the Panthers. Get you plus 1137.
You heard it here. Lottery ticket from that. Say it one more time for the folks in the back.
Browns, Eagles, Bucks, and Texans all for the win. Get you plus 1137. I'm feeling good about it.
We never would advise it, but if you're feeling dangerous and you're feeling like you want a little excitement, that's the bet. That's the bet to take right there.
Heck yeah. Get you something to cheer for all 4 games.
Get you something to make you feel alive. Right there. That's one of them I feel alive bits. That's I just want to come on, give me something. Awesome, buddy. Well, any other things before we wrap up here?
No, just had a really good Thanksgiving. Hope you and your family did too. Pants
Ate
are
way
fitting
too
a little
much.
bit tighter right now.
Yes.
Looking forward to the holiday season. Not looking forward to this cold weather. Hopefully that 60 degrees could come back. Oh, us Ohioans, we're not complaining about having a mild winter. I
Yeah,
don't need no. I've seen plenty of it in my life.
yeah, it was 50 this morning here. I had to wear sweatpants. But then by 1 p.m. it was like 68. So it's been weird. I know, uncomfortable
Tough life.
Floridian weather.
Tough
Tough
life.
life. Tough life.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, also head on over to SoBet. You can get exclusive sports content from over 50 creators. Enter code RSR and you can join SoBet today. You can download it in the apps or the App Store or the Google Play Store. Also, we're proud to announce that we are with Verse Fantasy. Verse Fantasy. You can download the app, enter code VerseStream, and from there, what you can do is put real money down against your friends on your fantasy lineup. What you do is you sync your fantasy lineup in with the app, and you can place real money on those player props and those picks and the games as well. And they have a free contest going on right now for free entry for a chance to win $100. I'm playing in it. You should play in it too. Free money. So the Verse Fantasy Sports app. You can go ahead, download that, and the SoBet app. Go ahead, download those today. Robbie, thank you as always. You're the best man. And to everyone else out there, make sure you keep the change.